Hey, welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV recap of Cooper Barrett's Guide to Surviving Life, Season 1, Episode 9. On this episode, does Barry look like Neil deGrasse Tyson? And what is the ultimate cure for hangovers? Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Just let this soak in. Just let it soak in. Just remember Zack Attack.
Oh, of course.
Oh man.
Don't insult me by assuming I didn't know who this was.
Just Stacey Carosi.
Stacey Carosi. Mr. Carosi. When you suggested Friends Forever, I was like, does he really mean Zack Attack's Friends Forever?
Friends Forever from Zack Attack.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, why are we playing Friends Forever? Because this episode of Cooper Barrett's Guide to Surviving Life is the guide to working with friends.
Yeah, survival of working with your friends.
Survival of working with your friends. Thank you. So yeah, this episode we do our. It's not as danceable because usually we have an intro where we can groove for a little bit, but this one's it's not. Ooh, it gets a little. It gets a little like slow jams there. Ooh, okay, all right.
This
Flashback.
is very sock hop.
Yeah.
Like junior high dance stuff.
And I think even at like 8 years old or however old I was when I first saw it, I was like, those are such bad dubs. Oh, wow. I think I even knew as a child that was such a terrible.
Oh, like in the episode where they deal with Casey Kasem and they all split, and like Zack becomes like male Madonna.
Yes.
Oh, this isn't the Save After Bell
After Show. Oh my God, we could just go on forever. So Cooper Barrett starts out with our crazy opening. How are they going to get out of this pickle? So this episode starts out with them getting tossed through a window.
That's great.
Onto the street.
And it was funny because as soon as they like tossed him through the window and he's like, I had two friends, and then they tossed both of them through the windows.
Yeah.
I instantly remembered Barry being like, whenever we gotta blow shit up, there's one guy at Fox that comes, and I was like, oh, this guy must have been like, all right, cool, we're gonna blow up. And how he said with like the glass, how they like electrify the glass so it breaks before they go through it. I was like, oh man, they had to do that like 3 different times. And
Yeah.
like oh.
That's true.
And then stuntmen, now they needed 3 different stuntmen to jump through the windows. And
yeah. All the stunt people that they utilize on this show. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, our previous recap of season 1, episode 8, we had the cast of Cooper Barrett in studio with us, and it was a wealth of information.
Yeah.
We learned a lot of really helpful things that we had been talking about for the first 8 episodes.
That really helped explain like why they've been so weird with storylines and where the arcs are going and what's going on with characters and why we mentioned Barry's hangover juice in like the first 2 episodes and then didn't talk about it again until episode 9.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's because they were all shot out of order.
Yes.
And they're airing out of order.
Very good to know. And they were also just very pleasant to have in studio. So thank you guys again for joining us.
Good stuff.
That was
they
really
brought
great.
Cookies.
They brought cookies. They were just delightful. So after we see them get thrown through the window, we cut back to 3 days earlier. And we, I knew this was a funny line, but I don't remember. Dr. Penicillin? What was that? I think Barry said it. I don't remember what it was. Do you?
No.
I remember that was a funny line, whatever it was. But we find out that they are working on their hangover, their business. And no, I know what I'm talking about. Kelly brings in a new friend, right?
Ramona.
Yeah, Ramona. And she is hot, and Cooper's immediately attracted to her. And she pretends that has a Southern accent. She pretends that
she has
she's
a
British accent. And then I was reminded of when Jack Cutmore-Scott, they said that he's so good with accents. We called him a jack of all accents. So wonder if he gave her a little bit of coaching on the accents there. Who knows? But they introduce so Kelly introduces her new friend Ramona, and we
find out that
I thought it was going to be easier using a notepad this time instead of my phone, and it's not because I did not take very good notes. I'm trying to remember They were in the bar.
We have Kelly dealing with now, or we have Leslie dealing with now. Kelly has a different BFF than her. We have the guys trying to figure out how to capitalize on Barry's hangover juice. So they run ads and they're out selling in the streets, hustling it out. And while they're hustling it out, Neil starts reading these like interviews that Cooper's been doing for this, and notice that none of them are mentioned. It's all pretty much like Cooper invented this and Cooper's taking all the credit.
He makes it sound like,
he did it all. He was like, I want to thank my two best friends, success and hard work, or something like that. So the friends are kind of shafted, especially Barry, because it's like his grandma's hangover juice. It's not called Cooper's grandma's hangover juice.
Right. And I never caught before that he says that his grandmother, obviously his grandmother was hungover all the time. For some reason I was like, that's a new detail.
He's like, yeah, your grandmother never knew what it was like to be hungover.
Always great with the lines.
So while they're dealing with all this, they're dealing with someone trolling and saying bad things about this hangover juice, that it has pig excrement in it. And automatically they know it's someone coming from the building, so they think it's Virgil.
Yeah, so the handle is Cooper Sucks 69.
This is a great line.
And Barry's like there were 68 Cooper Sucks already taken.
Were the first 68 already taken?
So they find out that it was coming from within the building. The call came from within the house. So they have to go to find out who in their building has created this handle. And so yes, of course they go to the landlord first, and he realized they kind of introduced the idea of trolling to him.
Yeah, he had no idea what it was, but he's like, oh, I got a lot of grandma jokes. This will be great.
And then they go to Mrs. Billingsley. Apparently a beloved neighbor who it turns out she has passed away.
She's now deceased.
She is now deceased. And then they realize, well, who else could it be? Kelly. So they go to, they break into Kelly's apartment, and they're on her computer, and then we find out that Ramona is a mole. Ramona is a mole.
I love how when they find out she's a mole, and they tell Kelly, like, oh yeah, Ramona did this to you. And Mrs. Billingsley's dead. She's like, I lost two of my best girlfriends in the same day. I was like, oh, that's great.
So Ramona is the CEO of Hang Ender, and she sees Cooper and the boys as competitors with Grandma's hangover remedy. So because apparently theirs is just a better version. It's a better recipe. So she's been trying to sabotage and posting under Cooper Sucks 69. She's been posting negative comments saying that their product contains pig feces and all kinds of gross things. So then she manages to steal Neil.
Well, she offers to buy the company first, and Cooper's like, no, I will not sell. I have two questions. Or what is it, like, number one? Whatever. Number two, shut up. And she's like, I'll buy the company. He's like, that was number two. Shut up. And he just leaves because he's all disgruntled.
So she ends up persuading Neil and Barry to come to work with her. And I like that in Hang Enders, like when we see their company. It reminds me of, have you ever been to the Google headquarters?
No, but I saw, like, that's exactly, like, do you ever watch Silicon Valley?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's, like, a company in there that's, like, kind of solely based on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, I instantly thought of, like, oh, this, yeah, I've seen this building before and all this cool gadget shit that they give,
yeah, with the, like, milkshake machine, and Neil they both have their own
masseuse
secretaries and masseuse, and his candy jars.
He's got a lollipop jar. It's like, why am I seeing the bottom of my lollipop jar?
So Cooper tells them that, you know, they're just they're going to what would you call it, like a convention where they're each selling.
It's like a BevMo convention of some kind.
Yeah. Oh, BevCon. That's right.
BevCon. That's what it was.
And they're making the they're just trying to sell, each have their like booths trying to sell their product, and Neil and Barry are working for Hang Enders, and Cooper and Kelly are trying to sell but he like screws up the blender and like everything pours out, so it's not really going well for Grandma's hangover remedy.
I love how when like Cooper goes to Josh to ask like what he should do when Ramona has stolen Barry and Neil away, Josh hits him with like the Untouchable lines. Did you ever see the movie The Untouchables?
Mm-mm.
His Sean Connery wasn't that good, but the fact that like he hit these lines, I was like, haha, that's more flashback movie stuff that this writer loves to do that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
This is classic.
They are great about doing that.
And then I love how when they're like at Hangender, she's like, you guys don't leave, don't say anything, and just stand here and hand out pamphlets. Like, that's all you're supposed to do. And then you get here Barry, he's like, hey man, you like pamphlets? Yeah, me too. And he's just like handing pamphlets out to people.
Oh, and
they look so miserable.
But before that, because that's after they were thrown through the window, because they ended up at the biker bar.
She tricks them.
Yeah, because
they hack her computer to steal all her customers, and it was really just a ruse. And she tricks them into going to an order that is at a biker bar that she set up. Yeah, that she knows is just going to cause. It was
a confusing. Like, I had a hard time following. Like, I had a little bit of a hard time going, okay, wait, who? So they hacked her computer. Yeah. They've got her customers, but then. Okay, so they ended up. So basically, she tricked them, and they end up at this biker bar. And the Sons of Anarchy lines are really funny. It looks like it's going to end badly. When doesn't
when doesn't an episode of Sons of Anarchy end badly?
So true. And Barry does look like Neil deGrasse Tyson with the mustache.
Okay, is that the guy from Reading Rainbow or no?
No, that's LeVar Burton.
Okay, who am I thinking? Like, who is Neil
deGrasse Tyson? The Cosmos. He's a astrophysicist.
I can't.
Have you ever seen
him in my head?
Ever seen Cosmos?
I don't know.
That's why he kept talking about space and
I
and Pluto
could get
and
it all when
yeah.
he was doing it, and then when like he lost the mustache and he's like, all my scientific facts are gone. I was like, oh, this is funny. And his vest with like the moons and the suns, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
But I was just like, who is it?
Yeah.
Who is he supposed to be?
Check out Cosmos. It is so good. It's just a science lesson.
Really?
I mean, they probably show it in schools. It was originally done by Carl Sagan, and Neil deGrasse Tyson did a revamp like a year or two ago. I think it aired on Fox. It did air on Fox. That's another interesting.
Fox is just trying to tie as much stuff as they can.
Self-promoting. So, yeah, but I super enjoyed it. It was really, really good. But it's just like a walk through the formation of the galaxy. But yeah, he did look like Neil deGrasse Tyson, except a bald, like a hairless Neil deGrasse Tyson. Neil deGrasse has like kind of that, like, I feel like he's got that like late 80s, early 90s flat top. Yeah.
With like
he kind of rocks that. Cut. Yeah.
Nice. Kid in play style.
Am I wrong? Am I misremembering? Maybe I'm misremembering him.
Tweet us.
I'm remembering him as I want Neil deGrasse Tyson to look.
A side-by-side picture of him and Barry. So I can see the comparison.
So basically, we see that's why they're thrown through the window. It's because they were misled to this biker bar. I love it also too when they are thrown through the window and like the last guy in like the salmon shirt,
he's
and they're like,
he's not
with us.
Sorry.
That was great too. Okay, so back to the BevCon. And everything it's looking like it's not going well for Cooper. And also Barry and Neil aren't very happy in working for Ramona because at this point they've been made aware of the fact that she's just using them for pawns and just to get back at Cooper, and they're not really an asset to her company.
I love the classic like cliche, like, oh, here's how we blend something, and then you don't like hold the top and it everywhere, and Cooper's just like, I don't know what I'm doing, and you guys aren't helping me.
I've had to make this recipe for the past 3 months, but I still don't know
how
to use a blender.
How to use the blender.
Yeah.
A blunder. Real quick, in this scene, while what is the other group?
Hangender.
Around their table while they're handing out samples, fellow AfterBuzz host is an extra. Michael Klaus at Michael Klaus TV. You could find him. Ooh. He was one of the extras sipping on the Hangender drink that once they play the little video and you see what's in it or what they think is in it, he starts spitting it back into the cup. I was like, hey, guy's a host here.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Look him up.
Always good to see people we work with.
Yeah.
Working. So that was cool.
So then Ramona kind of starts this video saying kind of, we all know what you guys are here for. Let's start the presentation. And it's this beautiful company video, industrial, about how hangingers is organic and made from the fruit of the earth and stuff. And then
splice in James Franco and all Neil's. Turns out Neil was really the one tricking Ramona, and they sabotaged her company. Rip their shirts open, and they have Barry's grandmother shirts on underneath.
Barry's grandma's remedy. So they sabotaged Ramona's videos and knew that they were, they were working for, I almost said they were working for Cooper, but they were working for themselves the whole time. They stayed loyal to their brand.
Yeah.
Which was great. That was a nice, that was a twist I did not see coming. That was very enjoyable. And then another shout out when we're back at the bar, and Leslie's still jealous that Kelly had a friend. Leslie introduces, this is Renee. And she's like, actually, it's Shauna. That was Kristen Studdard, a very funny comedy actress that I know through the comedy scene. She's a great, she's been on a few things, so you might recognize her from bit parts and other stuff, but it was very nice to see Kristen Studdard. I don't know her handle off the top of my head, but you will see her in other things because she's great. Cool. Yeah, this was an episode full of cameos. And so basically, Leslie tries to bring in a new friend, and Kelly's like, yeah, Ramona and I aren't friends. And she's like,
Leslie's like, oh, great.
I don't need you, Renee.
Get out of here.
Nice
Girls
knowing you.
can be so clingy.
So they all resolve and hug, and the guys say, Cooper gives his final lesson, admit when you are wrong. And he also says, don't own a pig.
Huh.
Yeah.
And after they were all in here talking about how big of a pain in the ass it is to work with that pig, I really was just like, oh man, they must hate having to deal with him. And like jokingly in the scene where it's like, oh, the hangover juice has pig excrement in it, and she's just like, yeah, your pig shits all over the building and it stinks. I bet those were legit oh man, I hate being on set when the pig is here because it stinks.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that was a fun surprise.
Yeah,
they really don't.
That was a great question you asked, because that didn't even cross my mind to bring that up.
I thought they were just going to be like, oh yeah, he's so cute, we love petting him.
Yeah. It was funny because I was like, wait, you have pictures with the little pigs, you look so happy. And they're like, that's the little pigs, not the big one. And then when they were like, he gets paid every take, in my head I legit thought they meant like the handler gets paid every take. Not no, we give him a treat.
I think I thought that
And then
too.
they started to give me cookies every time I was asking questions. So I was like, wait a minute, what is going on here? What is going on? But yeah, Cooper's like, moral of the story, it's okay to work with friends. You just got to be able to admit when you're wrong and when you're right, working together. Do you work with friends?
Very good lesson. I mean, yeah, I work with friends on projects that aren't getting paid for.
So you really don't have to worry about the money situation.
Yeah. Except for a couple. I mean, I have a comedy dance troupe, but whenever we get paid, we just
put it back into the troupe.
I feel like we all give equal parts, so it's not like one person's doing more work than the other. So yeah, it goes back into the dance troupe. Our payments go back into the dance troupe, as happens with most comedy dance troupes. And then at the end of the episode, of course, Ramona comes back in and says, hey, you have a better product, but I have the marketing skills. And ain't that always the way?
Yeah.
That nowadays, the great business model is that the person who knows the corporate lifestyle and can do the marketing and stuff like that, they
need the millennial that knows how to deal with everything from Snapchat to Twitter to FaceTime and whatever else kids want to be on to know what your product is and buy it.
Yeah. So I guess
that's what you need.
I guess we'll see Ramona then in future episodes.
And Kelly did not look happy.
Yeah.
She did not look happy. It goes back to this whole we're making each other jealous by not being together because we're denying that we really want to be with each other.
Yeah. And I really hope, on one hand, it was nice that Ramona's storyline was mostly about the business, but I was still just very slightly disappointed that they had to tie in that Cooper love interest, because it's it was so not relevant to the story. Why did we, it's just of course, introduce a new female, so there has to be a love connection.
Especially in that scene where she's like, I want to buy the company. And he's like, well, I'm just going to close my eyes and envision, or she like says like, I'll buy the company from you and then we could go have like rough sex pretty much to just like get rid of all the sexual tension. And he's like, hold on while I fantasize about it.
Yeah.
Okay, it was pretty damn good, but no, like, did we really need that?
Yeah. Let's have her just be the boss, the frenemy, the business frenemy. That's a good enough role for her.
It would have been funnier for me if like they were like, Cooper, like some company wants to buy it, you know, Roman, like you keep thinking it's a dude, and he's just like, I'm gonna go in there and put my foot down and show this Roman who's boss, and then the chair turns and it's a chick. Yes. So he's like totally thrown off his game, and maybe then it's a reason of like he's smitten with her because she's beautiful, and he expected to come like go nose to nose with a boss that was gonna fight him, and not like, oh hi, I'm Cooper Barrett, you know, kind of thing. I don't know, something different. Like, we and you are definitely on that same page of like, let's get the girls doing more than just being, oh, you're the love interest. You're the love
interest. You're here because we need
to move the story forward for the guys. What do we need?
A chess piece for Cooper's storyline. Also, like, let's get some we have regular looking dudes in the series, but every single woman on the show is smoking hot. So like,
that's something I didn't even realize right now. Charlie, he's short, has glasses, and like a Bieber haircut. Barry's
they're all pretty regular looking, except for Cooper.
Cooper's the only one that you would be like, he has headshots.
But we can't have a woman on the show unless she's like a 10 plus. So these are just things that we just throwing it out there. Hope you guys think about for the future season. But I'm glad, you brought it up with Kelly. She, I keep calling her character name.
Megan.
Megan
Raff.
You brought it up with Megan, and she agreed that is something. But she thinks that's improving as the show goes along.
And I'm sure, like, if it was airing the way it was supposed to be, we might not feel the same way. Because, like, in this episode, you can see, like, Leslie and her and their relationship. So maybe this was the episode that was supposed to air right after like that whole awkward thing with the couples happened, like in like episode 2 or 3.
Could be.
Like then that would make more sense because that was right around the time of the hangover juice and all this stuff. So it's just weird. Like,
so who knows? It's
hard to follow a show when it's like we're here one week, we're not here next week, and they don't let you know that. And then when like the episodes are jumping all over the place, and every episode starts with like the end of the episode and goes, it's we're working with this show to make it great.
But
just so you know,
So, but I feel like I think they're heading in the right direction. They're working on it. They know.
And I don't know if they like let something slip that they weren't supposed to. But last week when they mentioned season 2 and shooting for season 2, and then I called him out on it, and he's like, I mean this season, but in the later episodes. So who knows, dude? They could have 2 seasons in the can. And just shot 2 seasons, and like with the way they're cutting them up, they're like, okay, we'll cut this like this, and we can make 2 seasons out of this.
I mean, it's probably a pretty reasonably priced show aside from everything they spend on the stunt person. And the animal handler. But like, it's not like they're not shooting in crazy locations. All the locations are pretty
much like that apartment building or
like standard
the bar.
Bar, standard apartment building. So like, it's probably not like a super high budge. I don't know what stunt people run these days. I can't tell you.
How much glass windows and tables cost. Or James Franco's food. But
James Franco's organic gourmet slop.
Yeah, seriously.
For the Hollywood, what a Hollywood pig eats. How many? Let's see. Do we know how many episodes we have left for this season?
I would think. Usually, what 12 episodes on average? A show does. I forgot to ask them last week.
We will know. For next time.
I would think probably like 12.
Yeah.
And maybe like an hour-long finale.
You've got at least a few more of us.
Probably got at least 3 more of us, maybe 4. And if not, we both do other shows here, so you'll find us somewhere.
Yes, for sure.
Where do they find you?
You will find me on Twitter at Brown Tamara and on Instagram at Tamara_blue.
You can find me on Twitter at TheJimboSlice. That's TheeJimboslice. That's at TheJimboSlice with 2 E's. That's TheJimboSlice with 2 E's.
All right, so stay tuned. Come see you next time for episode 8 and
episode 10.
Episode 10, and we'll see you then.
The Guide to Surviving Something Else.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.